how are you? Lovely, lovely to be seeing you. Just on my way to the warehouse. Got to pack some greeting cards. I've been making greeting cards since 1991. In this case, they're going to a hotel that regularly buys my greeting cards. And what's nice about this is they buy them just as cards, so we don't have to put them with envelopes and put them in bags and all that stuff. Greeting cards were the first things that I ever made. This hotel that's getting these greeting cards, they love what I do. They're a hotel, they're in Melbourne, it's all about Melbourne. This one's called Movida Next Door, as you can see down the bottom there. This image was taken in about 2010, actually, if memory serves me correctly. Greeting card, of course, that means it does that. It's a greeting card. So 1991, my first card range, and I'm due for a new colour and black and white card range. Haven't done any in a while, and now that I've got this warehouse, I've got more space. That was my problem. Yes, so I've got to pack their order and I've got to do some printing for a shop, one of the shops that sells my posters. So the printer's just going through its startup algorithm. Now we've got the screen appearing here. This tells us our ink levels on the screen, along with various other sections, our maintenance tank levels, networking, anything in the queue, what paper we've got in there, and how long it is. So, got to fire it all up and get printing. So the reason it looks like it's printing but you can't see anything is because we're doing a really fine line for the framer to be able to cut this poster out. Now you can see the border coming through, and we're printing the sky at the moment, and it's black and white, so the sky is white, and some image is probably just about to appear. There you go. You can just see here the top of the pier. Now there's going to be 10 of those. Not really very exciting viewing. Maybe I'll let 2 print out. Now this is a range of posters that I first designed and made in the mid-1990s. I have added extra images to the range. The design has been going now for 22 years. I think it was 1997 when I first released the first 4. And we're only doing 2 designs today. They just order them when they run out. And it's random. You never know with retail. Here we are at the warehouse, as you can see. And the reason I'm showing you this, obviously here's the 64-inch printer, the Epson 2070, or as it's known in the Northern Hemisphere, just as the 2000. Who knows why they name them different things. Here are some of my books. Melbourne Love Affair Mini, colouring book, journals, Melbourne Love Affair, the big one over there. The reason I'm showing you this area, within a few weeks, we're going to be building a mezzanine that's going to cover all the way from the door down there, along, basically this will be the edge of it along here. It's going to be up at about 12 feet, 4 meters, and then it's going to run all the way past. This is the toilet block, and so I'm going to add about 30% more floor space. Now, I had wanted to do this before I moved in, it just wasn't possible. So it's meant this space has become a little bit crazy. It's a bit over full. The reason I'm talking about that is because we've got to find some greeting cards. It's a bit hard at the moment because we're not finished, we're not organised just yet. But these are all greeting cards here. What you're looking at right here, this is at eye level for me, so about 1.85 feet off the ground. And then if we go up to here, we're talking about probably something like 3 meters and above. So this is greeting card stock over the years. I need to find 20 greeting cards for an order, and plus we're going to do some printing. And then we're off to the city to talk about that sign. Bye. I've got this great idea, I can't wait to show it to you, but it's all about a screen. Now, so the idea isn't new, it's just trying to incorporate it into my world. So my studio / gallery / function space in the city is up a staircase, so we don't have any street frontage. Well, we do, which I've never really used because there's 2 other people using it, and it's this box that's 43 centimeters by 1.4 meters. And for years I've thought, I need to get a screen and squeeze it in there, but there's only a 2.5 centimeter gap, which is just about an inch. So there's an inch in space to try and squeeze this electronic screen in, and I've been looking for years, and I've never really come across a screen that's the right size to fit in there, that's big enough. Obviously you could stick an iPad in there, but you know, the biggest they get is, what, 12 inches or something. Not what I was looking for. So I finally decided to have another look into all of this again, and I found a screen made by Samsung. Thanks very much, Samsung. It's a new screen. They're doing something funky. They're trying to make it really low profile and small and have no stand. It's actually really smart. I think you should check it out. But it's only 2.6 centimeters, so just over an inch thick. Wowzers, that's not very thick. And the cabling goes in sideways rather than at a right angle. It goes in sideways, and this means I've got about 2.3, 2.4 centimeters. We're talking about like a couple of mil. We think it'll probably fit with a bit of a smile, a bit of a push, maybe a bit of a sand. If we have to sand some corners back a little bit. But I'm so excited. Yeah, almost 6 years of being there, I might finally be able to get this screen in there. So that's what we're doing today, but I've got to go to Keysborough, which is where my warehouse is. Got to go there first. Oh, and I just wanted to touch on, I know I talk about this a lot, and I'll actually make a video about it specifically, but I've had a chance to review the images from the shoot that I did last week, where I showed you what's in my case. And I did take the Z7 with me, you know, thinking I might use it, wasn't sure, because I'm still sort of working it into my professional workflow. You know, I've got two D850s. I'm very used to that style of shooting. And commercial work, there's a lot of pressure to perform. You've got to just get things done quickly. So it's not a place to be experimenting on your clients' money. But what I found was I was shooting both in a situation where it was a sunny day like it is now, very sunny. So we had both interior light, shadowed light, and we had just full sunlight. And I thought to myself, well, this is a high dynamic range situation. I want to make sure about my exposures. I can do this more easily now with an EVF as opposed to an OVF. Plus, since I've had the 50mm, the Z50mm 1.8S, I just thought, you know what? I thought I'd give it a whirl from an optical perspective. Yeah, I thought I can really give a medium format sort of look with this lens. You know, I just wanted to test out the focusing, because the focusing is something we all talk about a lot, the Zs versus, or mirrorless versus DSLRs. So I thought, yeah, I'll really give that a go. And what I found is both cameras, the D850 versus the Z7, they had slight pros and cons over each other, but on balance, they were both equally good and did certain things slightly differently. That 50mm lens, that Z50mm lens, coupled with the Z system, coupled with that brand new mount, coupled with whatever electronics they might have also helping correct the lens, I don't know, I have to dig into that to see if there's much of that going on. There is no question, I'm happy to say today, that that's the best lens I own, and the outcomes are spectacular, and I'm confident there will be even better lenses to come from the Z system. But right now, blowing my mind. Now, unfortunately, I can't show you these images because they're owned by my client, but the publication that they're going in, because we were doing the cover of a magazine on Saturday, that will come out, and then I can show you, and then we can go through and look at some of the shots once it's come out. It's probably been a couple of months. I can show you the same shoot we did last year. I actually saw on Saturday, we did a similar sort of shoot a year ago. I saw the images, and you know, quite often you don't get to see where your images end up and how that they're used. And I was really excited to see it. We also made the cover of that magazine. One of the sweetest, nicest shots out of that shoot. They definitely chose that. But back to my point, the Z50mm, which was just on sale here for $700 and something, which is amazing. Even cheaper than what I got it for. If you just want an if you just want to get a Z6, which were also on sale, I think I saw it for 2,266, which Australian dollars, which is cheap, because that's almost equivalent to the US price. And this lens, and you have an absolutely high-end pro system for such an entry-level price, plus Nikon's doing this great work on the video front. So I tell you, the Z cameras are amazing, and the only thing I'll say is just, if you want to shoot high speed stuff, they're not the best for that. But if you When I say high speed, I mean birds, sports at night, Formula One cars at night, you know, that sort of stuff. If that's not what you shoot, these cameras, I feel, are just outstanding. And definitely if you own Nikon glass, again, absolutely no reason not to get one of these cameras, because then you can do what I'm doing, which is really enjoying putting my old glass on the front. Like you can watch this video up here, the 14 to 24 2.8. I've put the 85mm 1.4. I've put the 70 to 200 2.8 FL. They all work brilliantly, so I can still get all the advantages out of my old lens. Plus, I can modernize them. I can give them stabilization. Two of those lenses don't have stabilization, and suddenly they do. Anyway, this was a film about signage that's gone off on a tangent about the Z and the 50mm. I think this is the first time I've used it. No, it's not the first time I've used it professionally, but this was a harder shoot than the other time that I've used it, because the subject, which was a little girl, she was running around like crazy, and that made it hard. I'll see you at the warehouse in just a moment. I'm still about 10-15 minutes away, but you're going to be there, and here we are at the warehouse. It's just there. Let's pack some cards. I call them mat straps, and I made these for packing stuff. And they're just a long strip of paper that I did on the edge of my calendars, and I made it look like a negative. Yeah, and you'll see how this works now. Unfortunately, I just broke my sticky tape dispenser, so it makes things slightly harder than I'd like them to be. Okay, package number 1. We're going to go get the screen now from the PC vendor. Okay, so here is a few more cards going off to the hotel. This one's called When You're a Jet. Let me know if you can work out why I called it that. Still one of my favourite images. Taken back in 2012, I think, on the Nikon. I think it was the D4. Outstanding dynamic range. This one's called Hot Wheels, from about 2014. And then we have this one called Hoboken, after the cafe that you can just down here on this truck here. You can see that was the name of the cafe. So I'm the only person that I'm aware of in the world, I've never seen it anywhere else in the world, where I put a separate different image on the back of my cards.